Hey everybody, this is Mr. P, and hopefully everybody is doing well. I'm coming to you with another e-learning lesson. This is for Tuesday, May 5th, and this is section 11.3, and what we're going to be doing is dividing polynomials by monomials. Okay, so polynomials, remember, have several terms. That's what poly means. Monomials are just, it's just one term. It's a one-term polynomial, basically. So what we're going to end up doing is dividing each term in the polynomial by a certain monomial, which is going to have exponents in it. Okay, so remember, when we are dividing with exponents that have the same base, like these both have a base of x, we subtract them. So x to the 6th divided by x to the 3rd is x to the 3rd, because 6 minus 3 is 3. X to the 5th over x to the 7th. 5 minus 7 is negative 2, but remember, we're going to want positive exponents. Remember, earlier on when we looked at problems with exponents, our answers had to have positive exponents. So x to the negative 2, remember, is 1 over x to the positive 2. So we're going to have to make sure our answers, every term of our answer has a positive exponent. Of course, we also want to make sure we reduce all fractions as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at one here. So let's say I have 4x to the 5th plus 3x squared plus 4x plus 8, and I am dividing by 2x squared. Okay, so this is my polynomial divided by the monomial. So that means I'm taking each one of these terms and dividing by 2x squared. Okay, so here we go. 4x to the 5th divided by 2x squared. 4 divided by 2 is 2. X to the 5th over x to the 2nd. 5 minus 2 gives us x to the 3rd. Next term, so we got plus 3x squared. Again, dividing by 2x squared. Dividing by this here. So 3 over 2, we're going to keep that in fraction form. Okay, so plus 3 over 2, that's the fraction. X squared over x squared, that's going to cancel out. All right. Next one, plus 4x over 2x squared. Again, 4 over 2 gives us 2. Okay. X over x squared. So x minus x to the 1st minus x squared, x to the 2nd is x to the negative 1. Remember, and that translates to 1 over x. So the x would go to the bottom. Okay, plus 8 over 2x squared. Of course, 8 over 2 is 4, so that goes on top. And we're just left with the x squared on the bottom. All right, looks kind of weird, but this is actually your answer. 2x to the 3rd plus 3 over 2 plus 2 over x plus 4 over x squared. Again, just think back to your rules of exponents and make sure all your fractions are reduced. Okay, so this one, again, I kept it as fractions. You may come across a problem that wants you to put something in decimal form. Just make sure you read the directions, because you do have a Math Excel for May 5th, and actually May 6th, tomorrow's assignment is just a recap assignment on this, which will actually be on Schoology. All right, so next one, let's look at it. We got 6x to the 8th minus 9x to the 6th, okay, divided by 2x to the 4th power. Remember, I'm taking each one of these terms, dividing by 2x to the 4th. So I'm going to have 6x to the 8th over 2x to the 4th. Let's take it one step at a time. Do the numbers first. What's 6 divided by 2? That's 3, correct? 8 x to the 8th over x to the 4th. Remember, subtract the exponents when we're dividing. 8 minus 4, that's 4. 3x to the 4th plus, or actually, in this case, it's minus. Okay, so we just want to make sure we're watching our signs. 9x to the 6th over 2x to the 4th. So 9 over 2, negative 9 over 2, we're just going to keep that as a fraction. Again, make sure you read the directions, whether you're keeping it as a fraction or a decimal. So we know that part of it. X to the 6th over x to the 4th. 6 minus 4, we subtract from top to bottom, is 2. So I would just have x squared. Okay, so technically I could write the x squared, negative 9 over 2, and then the x squared, or I can do 3x to the 4th minus 9x squared over 2. So those mean the same thing, either the fraction and then the exponent outside the fraction, or you can have the x squared on top of the fraction with the 9. Either way, that would be your final answer for that problem. Okay, so we divide each term in the polynomial by the monomial, okay, and we reduce our fractions and simplify our exponents. Okay, let's go to the next one. So our next one here, I'm going to do 9x to the 6th minus 12x to the 4th plus 6x squared, and I'm going to be dividing that by 3x squared. So I take each term in the polynomial, divide it by the monomial. Okay, so I'm going to have 9x to the 6th over 3x squared minus 12x to the 4th over 3x squared. We'll simplify in just a moment. Plus 6x squared over 3x squared. Okay, so let's start the first term. 9 divided by 3 is 3. X to the 6th over x to the 2nd. Remember, subtract the exponent. 6 minus 2 is 4. 3x to the 4th minus, okay, because we have a negative 12 over positive 3. Remember, negative divided by positive is always negative. So that's negative 4. X to the 4th over x to the 2nd. Subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2. So x squared plus 6 over 3 is 2. The x squareds, they just go away. They cancel out. So this would be your final answer. 3x to the 4th minus 4x squared plus 2. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at one that has 2 variables in it. Okay, we're going to work the same strategy. Actually, I'll go ahead and get a fresh board for that one. So the last one we're going to do together here, again, has 2 variables. So for example, I'm going to have 12x to the 6th, y to the 5th, okay, minus 4x to the 3rd, okay, y to the 4th, plus 2x to the 2nd, y to the 3rd, and I'm going to divide by 2xy. Okay, so again, we're going to follow our same strategy here. Remember, we're going to want to make sure we're dividing the x's by the x's and the y's by the y, because our rule for exponents with subtracting exponents only works if we're subtracting exponent terms that have the same base. All right, so 12x to the 6th, y to the 5th over 2xy. Okay, so on this one, let's take it one step at a time. 12 over 2, 12 divided by 2, 6. So keep in mind, remember, I'm dividing the actual numbers, but I'm subtracting the exponents in the terms that have exponents. This is really x to the 1st, and this is really y to the 1st. So what's 6 minus 1? Just look at the x's right now. It's 5, right? So I'm going to have x to the 5th. Then I got to look at the y's. So y to the 5th over y to the 1st. Same base. I got to make sure the like terms are lined up there. 5 minus 1 is 4. So y to the 4th. Minus, right? Because it's minus. So minus 4x to the 3rd. Y to the 4th. Again, dividing by the same 2xy. Again, I have x to the 1st, y to the 1st. 4 over 2, or negative 4 over 2 is going to be negative 2, so minus 2. X to the 3rd over x to the 1st, 3 minus 1 gives me x to the 2nd. y to the fourth over y to the first, y to the third. And then finally the last term, plus 2x to the third, y to the third, over 2xy. Okay, so remember, again, these are to the first power. 2 over 2, what happens with that? Goes away. So my last term here is only going to have variables. So x to the third over x to the first. Again, that's going to be a x to the third over x to the first. That's going to be x squared. Okay, and y to the third over y to the first. That is going to be y squared. All right. So with this, okay, this would be our final answer. Okay, so 6x to the fifth, y to the fourth, minus 2x squared, y to the third, plus x squared, y squared. Okay, so that would be your final answer. Again, make sure all fractions are reduced, and make sure that you've simplified all exponents correctly. All right, remember you have your first assignment on this is on Math Excel for 5.5. Your second assignment would be on 5.6, which is actually going to be on Schoology. And then 5.7, we're going to move to section 11.5. Okay, so until then, this is Mr. Pete. See you later.